Tempers flare at the state capitol today over Michigan's emergency manager law.
Yeah, the State Board of Canvassers voted 2-2 right along party lines today.
Yeah, that means that the effort to repeal the emergency manager law will not go on the November ballot. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Joanne Purton.
And I'm Stephen Clark. And 7 Action News reporter Tom Wade is standing by live in the newsroom right now to explain, Tom, exactly what happened today out there.
Well, Stephen and Joanne, this is a tough loss for those who wanted to overturn the emergency manager law, and there was a lot of anger today after the vote. The decision by the State Board of Canvassers means, as of now, the emergency manager law will not go into a vote in November, and that realization seemed to pour fuel on a smoldering fire. Here's what happened when the vote went down.
Shame you, 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 shame.
The two Republicans who voted not to support the petition said they did so because the font size on the petition was too small. All told, petitioners got 226,000 signatures to put the issue on the ballot. That's 40,000 more than required. A group called Citizens for Fiscal Responsibility challenged the petition, saying the font size was not in compliance with state law, and opponents tried to make their case.
We believe our course was just and our campaign honorable. We gathered all those signatures on an entirely volunteer basis. Some worked because they saw potential for abuse from this law. Others worked because they experienced the actual abuse built into this law.
There needs to be 3 votes to certify anything. A tie means the proposal is not certified. It certainly does not mean that the proposal is dead. It just means you need to take it to court.
Yeah, and that's exactly what opponents of the emergency manager law are now determined to do next. They intend to take their fight to the Court of Appeals to try and force the repeal issue to be placed on the ballot. I'll have a lot more on this, on what could shake out legally in the court system tonight on Action News at 6. Stephen.
All right, Tom, we'll see you shortly, then. Thank you very much for that. Meantime, the emergency manager issue not being on the ballot is a very important subject for the Detroit School District, where some different types of emergency managers have been running things there since 2009. 7 Action News reporter Julie Bonovich spoke to the teachers union and the administration about today's development.
President for the Detroit Federation of Teachers was in Lansing today, and he calls the ruling a slap in the face.
Without question, democracy was ignored.
Teachers with the Detroit Public Schools had hoped for a petition approval to help them start to get out from underneath the thumb of their emergency manager.
But you, in essence, told over 200,000 citizens of the state of Michigan, along with the hundreds of people who gathered these petitions, that their effort, their voice, their vote doesn't matter.
Union President Keith Johnson says since Roy Roberts was appointed EM last year, 200 of their teachers have been laid off.
Really makes you wonder, you know, is Michigan really on the verge of sending a message to the rest of the nation that our democratic principles no longer matter?
The state began to intervene in the financial problems of DPS in 2009 when they appointed their first emergency financial manager. Johnson says EMs have too much power now because they can also make decisions regarding academics.
So he's moving us on the path towards fiscal solvency. But on matters of academics, we are nowhere near where we should be, and I really question whether we're moving in the right direction academically.
EM Roy Roberts would not go on camera, but released this statement to 7 Action News, saying in part, in DPS's case, the added provisions are not ones that all have to be exercised to be effective. And in fact, I have chosen a course to work with the union leadership and the elected board. Johnson says he's confident the Michigan Court of Appeals will overturn the ruling and people will get to vote on it. From Detroit, Julie Bonovich, 7 Action News.
Suspending the emergency manager law would impact school districts in Detroit, Highland Park, and Muskegon Heights. It would also affect the cities of Pontiac, Flint, Ecorse, and Benton Harbor. It would not, however, change the consent agreement in Detroit.